My old Chevy Volt, a 2012 that I've had since summer of 2011, came up with the check engine light, or CEL. And I've been ignoring this for like, I don't know, a couple years now because it really hasn't affected anything. But I figured, you know what, it's starting to bug me. I want to know why it's got a code and what it is. I suspected what it was from day one, but let's see if my assumption was correct. So I figured I'd take this opportunity today to talk to you about my 2012 Chevy Volt. After all, that's what this channel is named after, 12 Volt Vids. The name came from my 2012 Chevy Volt because my initial videos under this channel name were on the Volt. I had my YouTube channel for a few years prior to that, but I hadn't really posted much. And when I got the Volt, I was so excited about having this plug-in hybrid electric car, the first one that was on the market, that I did a few videos dedicated to the car itself, which I've had now 12 years. I bought it in 2011. Recently I got a check engine light on it, and I kind of thought I knew where the check engine was coming from because of how it happened, but I wanted to find out. I didn't want to go to the dealership and pay them a bunch of money to tell me and charge me to fix a thing. I didn't know where the fault was, so I bought one of these little ELM 327 mini interfaces, which just plugs into the OBD port. I think I paid like 15 bucks for this thing off of Amazon, so I could read the codes and see where the problem was. And I found the problem. It was real simple. I fixed it. Unfortunately, I didn't make a video of it, and unfortunately the car is not here right now, but I can probably demonstrate on my 2019 Chevy Volt because I'm sure it has the same system on it. Let's take a look at that one and see if it works the same way. So on these cars, these are a plug-in hybrid. This is where the gas goes, and this door is locked. It does not open. I have to push a button inside the car. And what that does is that unlocks the gas filler. Now inside here there's a switch. It's right in behind here. It's a little leaf switch. And what happens is the little spring on there can bend and allow the switch to not be activated when you close the door. Now, I'm talking the 2011 to 2015 model. I believe this one here, the switch is actually activated by this. But on the first generation, there's a little switch in behind here that activates when you close the door. But again, on the 2016 to 2019 model, it's done by that. The little switch is in behind here, and this presses it, but there's still a switch right in there. If I get a close-up, you'll see it. You can indeed see the switch. It's right here. So when I close the door, you'll hear it. That locks the door. If I open it again... Sorry about all that. The construction noise that's going in the background makes it hard to make one think. You'll hear it activate. That has now locked the door, so I can't close it. I'll have to press the button again in order to close the door. So when I close the door, you'll hear it lock. That locks the fuel filler. Now what I noticed on my 2012 was one time when I went to the gas station a while back, when I closed the door, I didn't notice that locking. Didn't notice the sound of it locking. And in fact, I could open the door again without having to press the button inside the car to unlock it. So I figured something was up with the locking mechanism. Then I got the check engine light, and I figured it had something to do with the door, for sure. But I didn't do anything about it at the time. So I figured it had definitely be something to do with that, with the door not closing, but I didn't know if there was a switch there or how it was detected initially, or even if that's what was causing it. Perhaps it was something else. After all, the car's 12 years old. I've never had any trouble with it. In fact, the only trouble I've had with that car is the buttons on the door handles on the driver's side no longer unlock the car. The buttons themselves on both the driver and the passengers, or the driver's side rear door, have gone bad over the years because I used to use them to unlock the door all the time instead of using the fob. and the little micro switch, I guess, in behind there went bad. Not too worried about that. And the key fob, one of the key fobs, the plastic is starting to break on it. But other than that, the car's been perfect. Only thing I've done to it is a set of tires. It's running the original 12-volt battery as well. But I figured I would check this out and see whether what I thought was where the problem was. So I ran the code, and the code that came up showed that it was the fuel door detection switch was not detecting that the door was closed. I reached in where I showed you there before, in behind the hinge, which is where it is on the first generation, and sure enough there was a little metal leaf switch in there. I was just able to bend the little metal leaf switch out a little bit so that when the door is closed, it pushes it in further and activated the switch, and then the car locked. I then cleared the code and everything's good. But while I was in there, I figured I would download an app called My Green Volt. I'm going to share with you the results. This is a car that has 200,000 on the odometer as to how good the battery is. For the naysayers that say your battery is only going to last you 8 years, this is a 12-year-old battery I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how well the car is balanced. The cells are balanced. So this is the battery fully discharged. Before I plugged it in, I was down to 0, or I think 1 mile of range, one or 2 kilometers of range before plugging it in. I've completely depleted the battery, and we can, if we look down here at the minimum maximum, the minimum cell voltage is 3.739 and the maximum is 3.756. That's pretty damn close for all the different cells on the packs. That's excellent. That's about as good as you would ever expect on a car with 200,000 miles on the odometer. I have a few other pictures that I took when I was actually operating the car at different states, like some under load, others under regen. So under load, I'll show you that one. Here's a snapshot that was taken as I was cruising along under load. Again, look at how flat the discharge is on all the individual cells in the battery pack. I mean, that is amazing how well that pack has held up over the 12 years that I've had the car. It's just, you couldn't ask for a battery that's in as good a condition as this. It really is amazing how well this is holding up. Again, it's not fully charged. I'm talking a battery pack that maybe has 10 kilometers of range or so remaining on it before charging. So I did do a charge, and I'll show you that at the end here, of the different voltages after a full charge. And there's a little bit more of a swing between them at a full charge, but still it's very, the scale expands more, but it's still very well balanced. Here's another graph as the car is being driven. The reason we're seeing some fluctuation here is because I'm accelerating and decelerating. If I start to accelerate, the voltage obviously will drop a bit, and if I take my foot off the accelerator and regenerative braking kicks in, we'll get a little bit higher. So that's what's causing these little bit of changes. That's just accelerating, decelerating. And here's another one as I was, again, modulating the gas pedal as I was driving, and I was just taking snapshots because it's a linear. So in other words, it doesn't just take a snapshot like this, it actually goes across and measures each individual cell bank at the time. So it's not an instant snapshot. This takes like 10 seconds as it scans all the battery cells. So this is over a period of time, and I was accelerating a bit and then decelerating a bit. This is the important screen here. This shows fully charged after the car comes off the charger. Again, this is expanded, so this is nothing to worry about. What we're looking at here is the cell balance between the cells, and you can see that the minimum cell is measuring 4.051 fully charged, the maximum cell 4.064, with the average being 4.057. That's for a fully charged battery. That's again a 12-year-old battery with 200,000 miles on it. Incredible. How come it's lasted so long? I follow the Volt forums, and I see people that are complaining about one of the sections of their battery pack went out. Let me explain. When Chevy brought the Volt out, it was a 16 kilowatt hour battery pack, and they allowed you to use, I think it was 9.9 or 10 kilowatts, but there was like a 6 kilowatt reserve. That was 2011 for the 2012 model in Canada. Even the 2011 model in the States, which came out in 2010, would have been the same. So they had 6 kilowatt hour of battery that you did not use. That was your reserve. It never fully charged and it never fully discharged. It charged between 30 and I think 80%, somewhere in there. That was to give you a good reserve in the battery pack. They then came out with a few tweaks over the following years, 2013, 2014, 2015, where they figured they would squeeze some more energy out of the battery pack, and they did some updates, and they did it for me too. When the car was new, I got around 55 kilometers on a charge. The best I ever did on a nice warm day when I wasn't accelerating hard, I think I managed to get it up to 61. But average 55 kilometers is what I got on a charge. They came out with some software updates because they figured they could squeeze some more energy out of the cells, because the cells were performing better than they had initially anticipated. And for the next couple of years, they increased the capacity to 10.5 or 10.6 kilowatts to give a few more miles of range. Then they found that there was some problems happening where people would get into a situation where the cells got below the safe minimum state of charge. Now, the Volt being a hybrid, it's an electric vehicle with self-generating capabilities. It's a plug-in hybrid. It's a series hybrid in most cases, where it will start the generator up if the battery voltage drops below the preset limit. And the preset limit, they had reduced that to provide some more range. And what they found was that a few people were getting into some problems where they would be accelerating hard and they would get the battery down to its minimum state of charge. The generator would come on, but they would be still using more power than they could generate, and they had not used mountain mode, for example, which builds a reserve in the battery. And a few people would shut their car off while it was in this message that said propulsion power has been reduced, and the engine's running like crazy to bring the battery voltage up. And the problem that happened is some people would shut their car off when that message was on, and then they would find themselves in a very unfortunate state that it would not turn back on because the computer sensed that the minimum battery voltage was below the threshold, and it would lock the cell out, lock the battery out, the car wouldn't start, and they got the bad news that they had cooked their battery. Well, General Motors realized that there was a problem with this, and they issued a recall. And the recall was sent out, I think it was 2019, I think is when I got mine. And it said, please bring your car in for a free update. We are going to update the software to prevent the message that would come up. I got it once or twice. And I told the wife when she was driving, if the message comes up, put it in mountain mode and let it sit for a few minutes before you shut it off. Just let it sit and recharge until that message goes away before you turn it off. Don't ever turn it off if the reduced propulsion message is on the screen. Put it in mountain mode, because mountain mode will put a charge in the battery. It actually puts about 10 miles of reserve in the battery, 16 kilometers on the first generation. So it'll give you a good third of a charge, basically. And here's a picture that I got when I was driving on my little road trip there. A couple of deer ran across the road right in front of me. Good test of reaction and brakes, believe me. Anyway, I saw deer. I had bears crossing the road in front of me. Everything. What the last update in 2019 did was it increased the buffer. So in other words, it raised the minimum state of charge so that the cells will never find themselves in that low state of charge. And what it did was it reduced the usable capacity to a little, I think it's 8.5 kilowatts from the 9 point, when it was new, it was like 9.8. After the first update, they increased it to like 10.1 or 10.2. It was ridiculous, to use more. They reduced it down to like 8.5. What that has done is that's reduced the electric range, which used to be around 55 kilometers. It's reduced it down to about 46 kilometers on a charge. Between 46, I think it was 40, actually it was a little more than that, it was like 49. But then I bought new tires for it. And I bought tires that were not EV rated, which are low rolling resistant. I bought some sticky tires. Sticky tires take more force to turn, and that dropped my range down to 45 kilometers. But again, 45 kilometers electric only on a 12-year-old EV is phenomenal. Little Bluetooth dongle to clear that code for that switch, and then I was able to read how good the health is on the battery on my car. And well, the battery, as you can see, is in excellent condition. Anyway, that's my little rant on the Chevy Volt. Probably, well, in no doubt, it's the best car I've ever owned. I've never had a car that's been this trouble-free. Of this one, the 2012. The 2019, well, we won't talk so much about that one because it has not been as trouble-free. It has had a couple of faults. It had a high voltage disconnect relay fail, which was warranty. And then it had a water shutoff, which we did a teardown on that water shutoff valve, which had I had this, I could have read the code and saw it was a water shutoff valve for the cabin heater and probably wouldn't have been so worried about changing it. But live and learn. It cost me a lot to have it diagnosed, so I went and bought that and saved myself a bunch of money. Anyway, thanks for watching.